ඔෆිස් එකේදී විතරක් නෙවෙයි මම දැන් ගෙදරදීත් IDD කෝල්ස් ගන්න SLT ෆෝන් එකේ.
ඔබේ නිවසේ SLT දුරකථනය දැන් IDD පහසුකම සහිතයි.
Making headlines on First at 9. End of a wait. The long-awaited PET scanner vested in the public at the Apeksha Hospital in Maharagama. Relief in the north. The government plans to introduce a social upliftment program in conflict-affected areas targeting women in debt.
Finance Minister is here. He wants to have some kind of relief program initiated on indebtedness.
UPFA's final call. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera says the final decision on the no confidence motion will come after tomorrow's talks with the President. Falling skies. The Chinese space station hurling towards Earth to move past Sri Lanka.
With respect to Sri Lanka, I will say that we should not get panic about this incident.
The final journey. Epoch-defining scientist Professor Stephen Hawking's final rites held in Cambridge. Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Katharina Chang. On to your top story tonight. The positron emission tomography scanner purchased for the Apeksha Hospital in Maharagama with public funds collected through a campaign supported by Derana was officially vested with the people today. A special ceremony towards this end was held under the auspices of Minister of Health, Nutrition and Indigenous Medicine, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne. In a view to assist the early detection of cancer among patients, Apeksha Hospital in Maharagama saw the need of a PET scan machine, which could save thousands of lives. On the 17th of March in 2016, Director of Apeksha Hospital, Dr. W.Y.K. Wilfred, approached Derana to request assistance to raise funds to purchase the PET scanner. The hospital, which had already collected 6 million rupees by then, needed 200 million rupees. It is in this backdrop Derana decided to raise public awareness in the campaign to achieve its target of 200 million rupees to purchase the PET scanner. Within a short period of 4 months, Derana was able to raise 240 million rupees. However, due to delay in the procurement of the machine, steps were taken to inform the President of the urgent requirement of the PET scan. After a long wait, today the public was vested with a brand new PET scan machine. A special ceremony was held under the auspices of Minister of Health, Nutrition and Indigenous Medicine, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne this morning.
With assistance received from Derana and other media organisations as well as the public, we were able to procure a much-needed PET scanner for this hospital within a short period of time. When we began this initiative, there was a total of only 5.4 million rupees. Our first ad campaign was aired on the 9th of March in 2016. By the 1st of July, we were able to raise 200 million rupees. As a media organisation, we did not want to take credit or publicise the fact that we were doing such an initiative. What we really wanted to do was to inform the public that we were only carrying out our duties as citizens. This is not the only initiative, but Derana also assisted us in trying to raise awareness for kidney diseases by holding workshops. You used your airtime, which is a source of income to the organisation, to carry out this endeavour. I give my blessings to continue the work that you are doing through Derana to help the health sector. I also wish to render my fullest support to Derana to help those who are unable to receive proper treatment.
මම 8 වෙනිදා ඔපරේෂන් කරේ මමත් ආසයි මේ මැෂින් එකට ගිහලා මගේ රෝගේ මොකක්ද හරියටම දැනගන්න.
පිටින් කරගන්න මේකට ලොකු වියදමක් යනවා. ඒ නිසා ළමයින්ට දේ කරගන්න ලැබීම ගැන ගොඩක් සතුටුයි.
අපිට ලොකු මුදලක් වියදම් කරලා අපි මේ ස්කෑන් යන්ත්‍රය දැන් පෙට් එකක් කරනවා පිටින් අපි කරන්න ඕන. ඒ දේ අපිට නොමිලේ ලබා ගන්න මේ අවස්ථාව දුන්න නිසා බොහොම ස්තුති කරන අතර එමෙම මේ ඒකට සහයෝගය දුන් සියලුම ජනතාවට සියලුම රෝගීන් වෙනුවෙන් ස්තුති කරනවා.
We at Derana extend our heartfelt gratitude to all who made the efforts to procure a PET scanner for the people of this country a success. President Maithripala Sirisena says that everyone should collectively fulfill their responsibilities to create a better country for the younger generations. The President made the remark while addressing the closing ceremony of the National Youth Programme Jataka Yonpuraya, which was also attended by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday. The closing ceremony of the Jataka Yonpuraya, organised annually by the National Youth Services Council and the Federation of National Youth Societies, was held at the Livestock Development Centre in Nikavarattiya yesterday. President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe graced the occasion.
As Sinhalese, we can be proud of our language and the culture. The same way, the Tamil community can be proud of their language and their culture. You should safeguard unity since we can't go back to a war. Today, there are hateful thoughts which are being spread. I should specially talk about Facebook. Facebook is an important tool. Therefore, we should use Facebook. No one hopes to ban Facebook, but we should find ways to stop hateful messages being circulated through it. I see personal agendas of politicians instead of ones designed to take the country forward, lying at the base of issues which have arisen today. Some countries have developed because they work according to an agenda. Therefore, the responsibility we have today is to make the future for the youth in the country better, and there is a necessity to work together in achieving that.
Chairperson of the Office for National Unity and Reconciliation, former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga, today highlighted indebtedness to be one of the main issues faced by women in conflict-affected areas in the country. During a meeting held in Jaffna, the former president revealed the government's efforts to address the issue so that the economy as well as residents of these areas can be uplifted.
A special meeting headed by the chairperson of the Office for National Unity and Reconciliation, former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga, was held at the District Secretariat in Jaffna today. Governor of Central Bank Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy also participated in the meeting that focused on developments and issues of the projects initiated by the Office for National Unity and Reconciliation.
We started the livelihood program in Kilinochchi with 500 mainly women. With the assistance we have given, they are already working on their projects. But then we were made aware by a central bank study that there was a huge problem of indebtedness. So there is a program to somehow resolve their indebtedness problem while at the same time parallelly giving them livelihoods, assistance to start new economic activities which can earn them some income. About 700 people have come into our livelihood program. They are being given their loans through the banks. We are giving anything from 50,000 to 250,000 depending on the project, and ONUR gives 25% of the total amount that they need for their project as a grant. Other 75% is given at 12% at the moment because SANASA has given it, and SANASA's interest rates are at that 12%, but beneficiary doesn't pay interest. He only pays 75% of the capital of his project. We pay 25% and the interest. It is on that basis these 700 people have got their loans.
Finance Minister is here. He's actually in Mailadi at the moment. He wants to have some kind of relief program initiated on indebtedness. So there is a livelihood programs as well as debt relief. So that is what is being put together. Livelihood programs they are in the budget. Those will be implemented, and all that we can make them aware, and when they speak to their people whom they are assisting, they can convey what is available.
The former president also revealed the government's plan to commence an economic centre in Jaffna.
The finance ministry is giving funds to start a big economic centre in Jaffna, which is like the Dambulla one, where all the agricultural produce can be brought by the farmers, and then buyers from Colombo and the big towns will come and buy.
General Secretary of the UPFA, Minister Mahinda Amaraveera, today said that the UPFA led by the SLFP will reveal their final decision on the no-confidence motion against Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe tomorrow. Meanwhile, expressing views on the same matter, State Minister Ajith P. Pereira said a group of UNP parliamentarians held successful discussions with the President yesterday.
The working committee of the UNP unanimously decided to sack any UNP member who would vote in favour of the no-confidence motion. We won't reveal what was discussed, but these discussions were successful.
The State Minister also criticised a group of ministers representing the SLFP.
Some ministers of the government signed this document. I don't think they even knew what they signed. The brains behind the situation were Ministers Susil Premajanta and SP Disanaike. We congratulate them on this.
Meanwhile, UNP parliamentarian Chandima Vijayasiri revealed his decision to present an impeachment motion against the President.
Together with the backbench MPs of the UNP, I expect to present an impeachment motion against the President following this no-confidence motion against the Prime Minister. The President is working against the mandate given to him by the public. He is also working against the team who supported this public mandate.
It is in this backdrop that General Secretary of the UPFA, Minister Mahinda Amaraveera, said that he will reveal the party's final decision regarding the no-confidence motion tomorrow.
We will hold a meeting headed by the President tomorrow evening to discuss what should be our decision on the no-confidence motion. A single party governed the country with swaps by parliamentarians from one party to another. Then came a national government, which wasn't a success either. I now think the public's hope is to see the country governed by an all-party government.
Joint opposition also expressed views on the no-confidence motion against the Prime Minister today.
We've discussed the no-confidence motion with the ministers of the UPFA. They clearly said they'd be ashamed if they couldn't vote for the motion. Whatever the end result may be with this motion, we at the joint opposition have already won now.
In the meantime, several other views were also expressed regarding the no-confidence motion.
All ministers who have signed in favour of the no-confidence motion must be removed, and those who would support the motion on the 4th also must be removed to continue with the government. That statement clarifies that Ratana Thera is disillusioned. At times the Thera talks sense, but at other times he just speaks nonsense. I've got to know the true situation with regard to the no-confidence motion. It's unfortunate that none of the politicians are talking about issues faced by the public these days. They only talk about their problems. As I see it, they have their own secret deals. So the public must be aware of things.
And on another note, the protest march organised by the United National Freedom Front demanding the resignation of the Prime Minister reached Galigamur today. Protest march commenced from Kandy yesterday and is scheduled to reach Nittambur tomorrow.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the success or the failure of the no-confidence motion against the Prime Minister lies in the hands of the President. The former President said this at a function held in Nuwara today. A newly constructed hotel in Sita area in Nuwara was declared open by the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa today.
නවම තත්ත්වය තමයි ඉතින් මේ අත අල්ලගෙන ඉන්නේ. මගේ ප්‍රශ්නය ඇවිල්ලා විශ්වාසපක්ෂයෝකට ජනාධිපතිතුමා අස්සම් කරුවා නැහැ. ඒක තමයි මගේ ප්‍රශ්න. මට කවදාකවත් විශ්වාසයක් තිබුණේ නැහැ නේ අස්සම් කරන්න බංගයා. හැමදාම විශ්වාස කරගෙන ඉන්නේ. අස්සම් කරුවත් මට ප්‍රශ්න නැහැ. බහුතරේ තියෙනවා. ඔබතුමාලා ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ නෑ ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ කණ්ඩායම තමයි දැන් උදව් කරන්නේ. මොකද මේක ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ අතේ තියෙන්නේ. අපේ වැඩි ඉවරයි. දැන් ජනාධිපතිතුමාට ඕන නම් මේක දිනවන්නත් ඇති පරද්දවන්නත් ඇති.
In the meantime, the former president also declared open a new Dhamma hall built in Paragavatta Sri Sudarshanarama temple in Akurassa today.
I met a principal who told me that observing the 5 precepts at a school function is now banned. I don't understand why they are attempting to violate the right to a person's faith. If we follow their theory of small families are valuable, there is no chance of our family having 9 members. I see this as the deterioration of the nation. I wonder if this is a result of some kind of a conspiracy. The other thing is the sexual education that is going to be introduced to the school education system. I think, as villagers, we shouldn't let Western customs and concepts be worked out in this country.
Sri Lanka's new Inland Revenue Act, which aims to simplify taxes and ease the burden on the low-income people, came into effect today. The Act aims to change the present ratios of direct and indirect taxes of 80% and 20% to 60% and 40% respectively. Various views were forthcoming today on the Act coming into effect.
The war was in 2009 and these tax concessions were given for a Mahinda Rajapaksa era from 2010 to 2020. Once there is economic growth, then we can charge more tax from the public. But the International Monetary Fund doesn't know anything about the war or internal conflicts we faced. When former Finance Minister Bandaranaike signed the agreement with the IMF, he only focused on increasing revenue for the government. It won't be fair for the public. These are germs given by the IMF. This is being unnecessarily subordinate to them. We showed them earlier that these proposals can't be done. For example, we can't compare the tax levels of Jaffna and Badulla with the tax levels in Colombo because the infrastructure facilities are different. I always told them not to impose taxes with regard to houses such as VAT or tax on capital gains. These would only bring harmful results. This isn't a new tax. This proposal was passed months ago and it was much needed for the country. This act will organize the monetary management and tax management.
Christians here at home and around the world celebrate Easter today. Although Easter is identified with Easter egg hunts and colourful display of traditional food, it is a day when Christians commemorate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Easter Vigil Mass was held across Sri Lanka, including the Sacred Heart Church in Kurunduga Hatakma in Alpitia last night. Easter is a Christian holiday that celebrates the belief in the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. In the New Testament of the Bible, the event is said to have occurred 3 days after Jesus was crucified and died in roughly 30 AD. The holiday concludes the Passion of Christ, a series of events and holidays that begin with Lent, a 40-day period of fasting, prayer and sacrifice, and ends with Holy Week, which includes Holy Thursday, Good Friday and Easter Sunday. Today, leader of the Catholic Church, His Holiness Pope Francis, celebrated an Easter Mass where he delivered his twice-a-year Urbi et Orbi blessing and message from the central balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. The tradition of Easter vary from country to country. However, a more peculiar message was delivered in Australia. A cheating scandal which has torn the moral core of Australia's most venerated pastime, cricket, has prompted church leaders in Sydney to guide the nation out of a painful moral tailspin over Easter.
A simple statement of being sorry, of recognising they'd made a mistake. For our former captain, a mistake of leadership, an error of judgment, his leadership. And of course, if we think upon our own selves, we recognise we've all been there. We've had our own failures. If it's hard enough to confront and stand up to a press gallery and admit you're wrong, what would it be like to stand before the living God and admit that you're wrong?
4 more suspects, including a former army soldier, have been arrested in connection with the recent incidents of violence in Kandy. They were arrested by the Terrorist Investigation Division. Let's now take a look at some of the stories making news across Sri Lanka.
Devotees flocking to Sripada over the weekend have surpassed 300,000. The Poya Day falling at the weekend has led to the increased numbers of devotees. In the meantime, the police also had to arrest 600 people for various offences. A public awareness walk on suicide prevention was worked off today from Mount Lavinia. It was organised by the World Health Organisation, the 1333 Suicide Response Unit and the Ministry of Health. The awareness walk will take to the streets for 73 days in the coastal areas of Sri Lanka, with several awareness programs also planned along the way. All private buses running on route number 210 along the Ratnapura-Ambilipitiya main road have withdrawn from service this morning. They charged that a group of drivers from another route attacked them and that they were not brought to book. A tense situation erupted following an altercation between UNP parliamentarian Edward Gunasekara and the police after the unveiling of a bridge in the area of Badalgama in Kotadeniyawa. The incident occurred when the police requested the MP to produce the licence for the loudspeaker in use at the event. The locals then told police to get the holes dug up in the road leading to the bridge repaired, which made the MP walk to the event. Later, the backhoe, which dug the holes in the first place, arrived and repaired them.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Derana 24/7.
China's space station Tiangong-1, which has been falling towards Earth since 2016, since China lost contact with it, will pass Sri Lanka tonight at 12:34 a.m., about 479 kilometers closer to land. It is China's first ever space station, and the country's plans for a controlled landing went bust with the communication lost with it. According to Director of the Astronomy and Space Science Unit of the Department of Physics, University of Colombo, Professor Chandra Jayaratne, there is no risk of it falling near Sri Lanka.
Tiangong-1 is the first ever Chinese space station and was launched in 2011. It hosted 2 crews of Chinese astronauts in 2012 and 2013. China subsequently lost contact with the space station in 2016, and it has been hurling towards Earth ever since.
This space station is the first Chinese space station, and it's the size of a big tourist bus. The length around 10.4 meters. It has about several tons of weight, and every 90 minutes it will make a turn. Subsequently, it will come closer to the Earth, and between 4:55 and 5:23, the re-entry will take place. That means it will explode just past the Sri Lankan soil, about 1,000 kilometers away, closer to the Malaysian borderline. There can be some harm to the people if it hits, but these are not so small or not so big phases. But with respect to Sri Lanka, I will say that we should not get panic about this incident, and there is a possibility that people in the northeastern horizon, or maybe in anywhere, that if you can see the northeastern skies after 4:45 in the morning and between 5:30 in the morning, at that time, if there is a nearby explosion, of course you can see a fireball.
The wreck of one of the ships of the British Naval Service, SS Sagaing, which sank at the Trincomalee harbour during World War II, is yet against seeing the sun after 75 years stay underwater. The project was carried out as per the instructions of Commander of the Sri Lanka Navy, Vice Admiral Sirimavan Ranasinghe, with a team of divers of the Navy bringing the vessel to the surface.
The 138-metre-long passenger-cum-cargo ship, launched on the 24th of December in 1924, was hit by Japanese carrier aircraft bomber attacks while at anchorage in Trincomalee Harbour on the 9th of April in 1942. On the 24th of August in 1943, the damaged ship had been sunken to be used as a pier for naval ships and had been resting at about 35 feet underwater at the Trincomalee Harbour. Sri Lanka Navy resorted to refloat the wreck after 75 years in order to make sea room for expanding berthing facilities in the harbour. The salvage operation took several months and was carried out by 98 personnel of the Sri Lanka Eastern Naval Command Unit. According to the Navy, it required the strengthening of the 452-foot-long vessel's main structural framework, which began on the 11th of September last year. The team of divers also erected an artificial side to the ship in order to seal an area before dewatering it to recover lost buoyancy. Navy media spokesperson Commander Dinesh Gunawardena said that steps will be taken to sink the SS Argying once again at another location along the Trincomalee coastal belt.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
At a time when Sri Lanka is laying out ambitious plans for the country's tourism sector, lack of facilities and infrastructure at times stand in the way. Pattipula and Ambewala railway stations in the Nuwara district are often visited by tourists, especially foreigners attracted by the picturesque journey.
Sri Lanka has a growing tourist attraction, and the government designs to exploit the increasing tourist numbers and along with it, the revenue generated. In the month of February alone, there was a 13.8% increase in foreign tourist numbers arriving in Sri Lanka compared with the same month last year. In the meantime, the government plans to make tourism the country's third net foreign exchange earner with a target of $7 billion in 2020. With all these plans in the pipelines, some failings in facilities and infrastructure puts the spanner in the works. Pattipula, Ambewala and Idalgassinna are some of the busiest railway stations within terms of tourism. Located at 1,891 meters above sea level, there is no other railway station in the country surpassing Pattipula at that altitude. It is also a rather busy station for foreign tourists. Tourists arriving at the station with FOS, however, are confronted with the lack of facilities and inconvenience. Huts built to provide shelter for the tourists were seen in dilapidated condition. Not far away from Pattipula, Ambewala railway station is also resigned to the same fate. At 1,827.77 meters in altitude, the station is only second to Pattipula. Expressing views over the matter, a tourist said that sanitary facilities are not at all provided at the Ambewala railway station.
It's a beautiful landscape here, beautiful people. But here on the train station we have no toilet, and that's not so easy for the tourists here in this beautiful landscape, and we hoped to get it better for the future, maybe. Here we are in the tourist information center, and I thought that we can get some information here, but we haven't found anything. We don't know why it is called tourist information center.
The funeral of Professor Stephen Hawking was held yesterday at a church near the Cambridge University College, where he was a fellow for more than half a century. Thousands of citizens and visitors turned up outside the church to pay their respects, watching Hawking's coffin being carried by 6 porters into the church. Up to 500 family members, friends and colleagues attended the private funeral service of Professor Stephen Hawking at the Great St. Mary's Church, officiated by Reverend Dr. Kelly Hammond. Hawking's children said they had chosen to hold a funeral in Cambridge because Hawking lived and worked in Cambridge for more than half a century and was an integral and highly recognizable part of the city which he loved so much and which loved him. The solid oak coffin, carried by 6 porters, all in formal black uniform, was covered by an arrangement of white lilies, which represent the universe, and white roses symbolizing the polar star. Professor Hawking is known for his work with black holes and relativity, despite being bound to a wheelchair after contracting a motor neuron disease in 1963 at the age of 21. He died on March 14th at the age of 76. Big match fever hit the country this weekend as well. Gurukula College comprehensively beat Sri Lanka Dharmaloka College, while a vehicle parade was also launched in view of the inaugural big match between Mahinda Rajapaksha College and Defence Services College.
The 27th Battle of Kalani, a one-day encounter between Kalani's Sri Dharmaloka College and Gurukula College, ended with Gurukula College winning the match by 7 wickets. Sri Dharmaloka College batted first and were bowled out for just 115 in 46.4 overs. Gurukula College made short work of their run chase as they reached the target of 116 in just 26.2 overs while only losing 3 wickets. A vehicle parade began from the Nawina public grounds in Maharagama and made its way through the towns of Kottawa and Homagama, arriving at the Mahinda Rajapaksha College grounds in view of the inaugural big match between Homagama's Mahinda Rajapaksha College and Colombo's Defence Services College, which is to be held on the 4th of April at the SSC grounds.
Let's cross over to Manusha Jayatilaka at the Derana Weather Centre.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.
A very good evening and welcome to Forecast First. Now your temperatures may vary between 20 to 32 degrees Celsius over the next 24 hours. And moving on to your rain forecast, there will be some showers in certain areas of the western, northwestern, Sabaragamuwa, southern, central and Uva provinces tomorrow. We can expect some wet weather in Jaffna and Batticaloa districts as well. Misty conditions meanwhile can be expected in most provinces of the island during the morning hours. That's it from your weather centre tonight. Up next is your city by city forecast.
Before we go tonight, we'd like to take you to Hawaii, where land spouts were seen over the Kilauea volcano. The land spouts, which are rare in Hawaii, were the results of intense wind and high humidity in the area. These swirling columns of ash were observed shortly after lava flows scorched sections of Kilauea's eastern reef. Hope you enjoy these videos and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.